Rule 7. The lunar return is the monthly remeasurement. In quantum mechanics, repeated measurement collapses a system into a stable eigenstate. The moon returns to its natal degree every 29.5 days, and each return remeasures the emotional baseline of the chart. That is why lunar returns work so reliably in practice. They are the most frequent natural remeasurement the sky performs on us.
Rule 8. Midpoints are quantum tunneling. In physics, tunneling is when a particle passes through a barrier it classically should not cross. A midpoint is exactly that, a degree that belongs to neither planet, yet carries the signature of both. When a transit crosses a midpoint, it is tunneling directly into the heart of a planetary conversation, bypassing the walls of the individual planets. The fastest, strangest events in astrology live on midpoints.
And before you dismiss the bridge, consider this: biology already uses quantum tricks. Photosynthesis achieves near-perfect energy transfer through coherence effects. Migratory birds navigate Earth's magnetic field through quantum spin states. If nature uses resonance and entanglement at the microscopic scale, the grammar of resonance simply asks, why should the macroscopic world of human experience be the one place in the universe where correlation is forbidden?
Which brings us to the boldest move in the grammar, the zodiac itself. The ecliptic is a continuous circle of degrees, but astrology has always chopped it into 12 signs and 36 decans. The grammar of resonance reads that discretization the way physics reads Planck's constant, not as an arbitrary convention, but as a quantization of the year. The zodiac is the universe's way of giving the calendar a spectrum, and each sign is an energy level.
And with quantization comes ethics. If the observer collapses the wave function, then the astrologer is not a passive reader of fate. Every reading is a measurement, and every measurement changes the system. The grammar of resonance therefore demands a radical honesty. We do not predict, we co-create the conditions of observation. That is why this entire show is framed as theory, as metaphor, as invitation. The sky does not decide. We decide, together, with the sky as our mirror.
Now let us honor the ancestors by going deeper into their actual toolkits. The Babylonians did not invent astrology as fortune-telling. They invented it as bookkeeping for the gods. The Goal year texts are the proof. Scribes tracked planetary cycles and then transferred an omen from one occurrence of a planet's cycle to the next, effectively running transits centuries before transits were a technique. The grammar of resonance is old. The Babylonians were already using it.
The Venus tablet of Ammisaduqa is the oldest continuous astronomical record we possess, a 60-year log of Venus's risings and settings inscribed in the 17th century before the Common Era. For our purposes, it is the first predictive ephemeris. The Babylonians did not ask whether Venus would behave. They asked what her behavior meant for the king, the harvest, and the state. Planetary periodicity was from the very beginning a language of meaning.
The Egyptians gave us the decans and the magic of heliacal rising. 36 star groups, each ruling a 10-day week, each vanishing into the sun's glare and then re-emerging at dawn. The heliacal rising of Sirius was the signal for the Nile flood. Notice the structure. The Egyptians did not read the sky as a static map. They read it as a clock that was always turning, a clock whose hands were stars. Time itself was the astrology.
The Maya took deep time seriously. Their long count tracks cycles of 13 baktuns, each baktun roughly 144,000 days, giving a grand cycle of about 5,125 years. The famous 2012 date was not an apocalypse, it was a calendar rollover, the Maya equivalent of a cosmic new year. But the deeper lesson is this: the Maya modeled time as a set of interlocking gears, and astrology as the study of where the gears catch. That is the grammar of resonance in stone.
In Jyotish, the Vedic tradition, the Vimshathari Dasha system divides a life into planetary periods of varying lengths, each ruled by a planet in a fixed sequence: Moon, Mars, Rahu, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, Ketu, Venus, Sun. The sequence is not arbitrary. It encodes a developmental psychology centuries before psychology existed. When your dasha changes, the ruler of your time changes, and the whole tone of your life shifts. Periodicity is biography.
The Hellenistic astrologers refined timing into an art. Zodiacal releasing is their masterpiece. You take the lot of spirit or the lot of fortune, and you release it through the signs in sequence, each sign ruling a period of your life, then sub-periods within it, then sub-sub-periods. It is fractal time. The technique feels almost like a musical score, with themes introduced, developed, and resolved over decades. And it still works, which tells us the ancients had real insight.
The Chaldean order is the sequence we still use for the days of the week, and it hides a cosmology. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon, arranged by apparent speed. The Babylonians believed the planets governed the hours in that order, which is why the week runs Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn. Every week is a tiny reenactment of the planetary order. The ordinary calendar was, for them, an astrological instrument.
Antischa are the mirror degrees. A planet at 15 degrees of Leo mirrors a planet at 15 degrees of Taurus across the solstice axis, and the two are said to be an antishone, a kind of hidden aspect. The Greeks called it the shadow of the aspect. In the grammar of resonance, antischa are the first hint that astrology is not just about visible angles, but about symmetry operations on the zodiac itself. Reflection, rotation, translation. The sky is a geometry of transformations.
The routine of Hermes is one of the most audacious techniques in the canon. Deriving the conception chart from the birth chart, or the birth chart from the conception chart, using the lunar phase at each moment. It treats the prenatal epoch as a mirror of the natal moment. Modern practitioners who test it report genuinely striking correlations. Whether you call it biology, resonance, or coincidence, the routine reminds us that the chart may begin earlier than we think.
Here is the pattern hidden inside all these ancient systems. They treat time as cyclic, not linear. The Goliar texts, the heliacal risings, the Mayan gears, the dashas, the releasing, the antischa, every one of them is a loop. The modern world trained us to think of time as an arrow. The ancients knew it as a wheel. The grammar of resonance simply takes the wheel seriously, and asks what happens when many wheels turn together.
Modern astrology added precision instruments. Cosmobiology, founded by Reinhold Eberton, built the 90-degree dial. You compress the zodiac into 90 degrees and read midpoints directly. Eberton proved that a midpoint between two planets could act as a third, silent planet, especially under transit. The 90-degree dial is still the fastest way to see a chart's hidden structure, and it is the direct ancestor of our quantum midpoint work.
The Uranian tradition went further with the 360-degree dial and the 8 hypothetical planets, Cupido through Apollon. Whatever you think of the hypotheticals, the dial itself is a revelation. It lets you see every aspect family at once, the 45s, the 135s, the 22.5s, the so-called hard aspects that most charts hide. The Uranians were the first to systematically treat the chart as a continuous field, not a collection of separate aspects.
The Huber School of Switzerland built astrology around developmental psychology. Their age progression maps the slow unfolding of a life onto the chart itself, sign by sign, house by house, in a precise chronology. The letters, their term for the planet's developmental roles, turn the birth chart into a story with a beginning, middle, and end. Huber astrology is the clearest example of astrology as developmental psychology with a clock attached.
Evolutionary astrology, in the lineage of Liz Green and Jeffrey Wolf Green, reads the lunar nodes as the soul's direction, the south node as the exhausted habit, the north node as the growing edge. It treats the chart as a map of becoming rather than a map of fate. In the grammar of resonance, the nodes are the interference pattern between the moon's personal rhythm and the ecliptic's collective frame. The soul is the standing wave between them.
Solar arc directions are the elegant workhorse of predictive astrology. Advance every planet by the same number of degrees that the Sun has traveled since birth, about 1 degree per year. The result is a chart that ages with you, year by year, like a time-lapse photograph of the sky. When a directed planet aspects a natal planet, an event theme opens. Solar arcs are the grammar of resonance in slow motion, the wave evolving 1 degree at a time.
Annual profections turn the year into a wheel of houses. On your birthday, your ascendant profects one house forward, and the ruler of that house becomes the year's theme. It is shockingly simple and shockingly accurate. Profections are the Hellenistic skeleton beneath every modern annual prediction, and they prove a deep point. Astrology works on every time scale, from the hour to the lifetime, with the same grammar.
Ferdaria are the Persian periods, a planetary rulership sequence that divides a life into roughly equal chapters ruled by the 7 visible planets, starting from the sect light of the chart. The Ferdaria give the broad strokes of a life, the dashas give the fine strokes, and the profections give the year. Layered together, they form a triple clock, and when the clocks agree, the astrologer leans in.
Declination is the latitude of the soul. A planet is out of bounds when its declination exceeds the sun's maximum, roughly 23¼ degrees, meaning it rises and sets outside the sun's yearly path. Out-of-bounds planets are the renegades of the chart. They refuse the normal rules, and their stories are unmistakable in real lives. Declination adds a second axis to the zodiac, and the grammar of resonance treats that axis as the vertical dimension of meaning.
The Arabic parts are the most underrated precision tool in the canon. The part of fortune is ascendant plus moon minus sun, but the system extends to hundreds of parts. The part of spirit, of marriage, of catastrophe, of victory. Each is a point computed from 3 other points, a kind of synthetic planet. In the grammar of resonance, the parts are composite particles, not primary, but real, and often more accurate than the primaries.
The lunar node is the shadow axis of every chart. The nodes are not bodies. They are where the moon's orbit crosses the ecliptic, the 2 points where the personal and the collective intersect. Modern astrologers read the south node as the karmic backpack and the north node as the growth vector. Eclipses happen on the nodes, which is why eclipse seasons feel like the sky pressing its thumb into the calendar.
Eclipse families are the deep time of the moon. A Saros series runs about 1,280 years, with an eclipse repeating every 18 years, 11 days, shifting about 10 degrees along the zodiac each time. When your natal chart touches a Saros series, you inherit a generational storyline. Astrologers who study Saros cycles can trace historical themes across centuries, watching the same dragon return again and again. That is the wheel within the wheel.
So the modern toolkit is not a rejection of the ancient one. It is a precision upgrade. The Babylonians gave us cycles. The Egyptians gave us stars and time. The Hellenists gave us timing. The Persians gave us periods. The moderns gave us dials, midpoints, declinations, nodes, and Saros. And the quantum frontier gave us permission to call all of it what it always was. A grammar of resonance between the sky and the self.
The fixed stars are the oldest voices in the sky and the most dangerous. Algol, the demon's head, sits at roughly 26 degrees of Taurus and carries a fearsome reputation. Beheadings, scandals, sudden reversals, the stories are exaggerated, but the pattern is real. Algol on an angle or a luminary demands a kind of radical honesty. The star is not evil, it is blunt, and it does not care about your feelings. Sometimes the chart needs that.
Spica is Algol's opposite, the most benefic of the great stars, the ear of grain held by the Virgin, associated with genius, prosperity, and unexpected good fortune. The Behenian stars, 15 fixed stars with specific talismanic powers, are the star world's aristocracy. When a Behenian star conjoins a natal planet, it dyes that planet in its color. The star is not a decoration. It is an amplifier with a specific frequency.
Perinatalonta are the stars that rise with the ascendant at the moment of birth, even if they are not conjuncted in longitude. The technique is ancient and rarely used, which is exactly why it rewards the curious. A perin tells you which star was physically climbing over the eastern horizon as you took your first breath. It is the most literal star of your birth in the entire canon, and it often cuts through the noise of a crowded chart.
Astrocartography, developed by Jim Lewis, takes the birth chart and projects it onto the world map. The lines show where each planet was rising, culminating, setting, or anti-culminating at your birth. Move to your Jupiter MC line and opportunities seem to find you. Move to your Saturn IC line and the same discipline becomes a prison. Astrocartography is the grammar of resonance applied to geography. The Earth becomes your chart, and place becomes a variable you can choose.
Relocation charts push the idea further. Cast your birth chart for a different city, and the houses shift even though the planets stay put. The technique lets you try on different lives, same sky, different frame. Paired with parents, the stars that line the horizon at that place and time, relocation becomes a genuinely practical tool. The grammar of resonance says place matters because every location is a different measurement of the same wave.
And so the sky turns out to be both inside and outside us. The fixed stars give us the ancient frequencies. The dials give us the hidden geometry. Astrocartography gives us the map. And the quantum frontier gives us the language. The chart is a wave function, and every place, every moment, every relationship is a different way of measuring it. The grammar of resonance is complete, and it was hiding in plain sight all along.
So let us finally name the synthesis. Astrology is not prediction. Prediction is the smallest thing the sky can do. Astrology is a relationship science. A grammar for how a person, a couple, a nation, or an era resonates with the cycles of the cosmos. The Babylonians knew it as correspondence. The Greeks knew it as sympathy. The moderns knew it as psychology. And the quantum frontier knows it as entanglement. Same insight, 4 languages, 1 sky.
If astrology is a relationship science, then the ethics change completely. You do not ask what will happen. You ask how can I be a more coherent observer of my own life. The chart becomes a practice, not a verdict. This is why we have framed every prediction in this show as a theory, a hypothesis, a resonance to be tested. The sky does not hand you a script. It hands you a tuning fork, and how you ring is up to you.
The quantum era gives astrology a new responsibility, to be humble and precise at the same time. Humble, because the observer is entangled with the observed, and no reading is neutral. Precise, because the tools are better than ever. Midpoints, declinations, Saros series, relocation, harmonics. The worst astrology is certainty without precision. The best astrology is precision without certainty. We have tried to show you the second kind tonight.
And what about technology? Artificial intelligence is already reading charts faster than any human, and it will only get faster. But the grammar of resonance suggests the machine will never replace the astrologer, because the reading is a relationship, not a computation. The algorithm can calculate the midpoint tree in a millisecond. It cannot sit with you while you decide what the pattern means for your life. The meaning is co-created, and co-creation requires presence.
Here is the future we imagine, an astrology that is ancient and quantum at once. That keeps the Babylonian cycles, the Egyptian stars, the Mayan deep time, the Hellenistic timing, the Persian periods, the modern dials, and the quantum metaphor, and weaves them into one grammar. An astrology that does not predict your fate but sharpens your attention. An astrology that treats the sky as a mirror of mind, and mind as a resonance of sky.
If you take one practice from tonight, take this. At every new moon, cast the chart for your own location and ask one question. What is this cycle asking of me? Do it for a year, and you will have a record of your own resonance. You will begin to see the loops, the returns, the eclipses, the profections. You will stop asking what the stars mean and start asking what you mean, in a sky that has always been listening.
We began with clay tablets in Babylon. We end with a wave function in a mirror. Between them lies everything astrology has ever been. A language of correspondence, a science of cycles, a psychology of depth, and now, a grammar of resonance. The ancient world gave us the wheel. The modern world gave us the dial. The quantum world gives us the entanglement. And you, the listener, are the observer who makes it real.